in doing so, the guy shot and owned the place down there. And he was about a mile almost from the house, down on the Oak River. Well, he had crab floats, floats.
Oh, I got blurry.
That's okay.
Crab pot floats. And I got it sitting out there on the porch. And what had happened was, I'm thinking, and we don't know for sure, but he might have shot the other guy's dog. He's never seen from that day to this, and it's been a year ago now. A year ago this November. Now, doing so, he didn't want any dogs bothering down in on his property. Well, it's right down in on the marsh. Broke Tank Creek runs down beside him. It's about as wide as this room, Broke Tank Creek, in some spots a little wider. Well, anyway, my dog was down there running also. That weekend, I didn't miss anything. The next weekend, another shot. Alan was with me. And when he was with me, bless you, I got down to where I could go to the farthest point. It was a metal gate here and a chain here. And the dogs was running, we could hear him about farm headed the church over there, a little further. I said, Alan, here, take this leash. And I said, don't take your gun, leave it in the truck. Just in case he's down there, since he shot the week before. Not knowing what happened, this guy's dog was gone. Alan got, I don't know how far from him, where he shot. And he's coming out the woods and says, I shot a coon, I shot a coon. Alan says, oh, yeah? Well, he didn't hear a dog bark, because a lot of times you shot a shooter's dog like he'll bark.
Well, I mean, once you shoot them, that's when the coons would go barking and chewing on them.
They would steady barking the trail, and then that might not distinct the bark if it was by itself or whatever. Well, nevertheless, Alan says something to him, and he kind of got nasty. And Alan says, oh, well, okay. I'm just trying to find my dog. Had the leash in his hand, so he come on and he told me about it. I said, well, Alan, he could have shot the boy. And the dog's name was Boy Dog. And I got his sister, Girl Dog. She was lost for 3 months. From January the 3rd until May the 13th or 15th, I forget which, I found her. And she's tied up there now. Sweet little thing, they're like a mother's tied up to that cedar tree. Well, nevertheless, that night, that boy was tracking my dog because the battery had gone dead in my tracker. So he said that dog is over in that marsh and it could be on the island over there and couldn't come out. Whether the tide was high or what, I don't know. But being that we were, we couldn't tell where the tide was. And he says, well, it was about 9 o'clock that night. I said, well, I'm going home. I said, it's cold and frosty, and I was just halfway tired out and didn't feel like going. And I couldn't go anymore because I didn't have my boots on. So he had waited in there in the meantime before he come back to me, up to his over his knees, his boots and blah, 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 and soaking wet, cold as heck. So he went on home and cut his dogs the next morning. He said, I can still track that dog. He called me and said, I can still track that dog on that 28. And I said, well, that dog, I don't believe. He said, well, I'll wait till the tide is high tonight, and I'll come back there with a flat bottom boat, skiff like, so to speak, back to or whatever you want to call it. And then marsh is about as wide in some places here to you where you can't get a bigger boat in there.
Mm-hmm.
So he was tracking, went on out into York Road, and come on back up in there. Lo and behold, that collar, this other one, that's rusted all up was a 28 collar that my dog, he had shot.
He shot it.
He shot it. And I haven't seen that dog mandate of this. But he found that collar that night, tracked it with his tracker, box. And brought on out there with a guy with him, called the sheriff and the game warden. Next day they went down to this guy's house, and he lives in Richmond. and he cornered it with that collar tied to that float out there and caught. Now I'll go get it and show you since
He tied it to the
I'll show you.
crab float.
I'll show you, Tom. Oh. And I'll show you.